You're listening to the Bare Metal Cyber Prepcast, created to help you succeed in your Security Plus certification journey. Learn more at baremetalcyber.com, where additional prepcasts, books, and training materials await. Let's get started. Vulnerability identification is the process of uncovering weaknesses in systems, applications, and configurations that attackers could exploit. It is the very first step in remediation because one cannot fix what is unknown. Comprehensive discovery ensures that both obvious and hidden risks are identified, providing a foundation for prioritization and repair. Without this discovery phase, organizations are essentially blind to the exposures in their environment. Hardened security programs treat identification not as an occasional activity but as a continuous discipline, recognizing that the threat landscape evolves constantly and every new change may introduce fresh weaknesses. Active scanning approaches are a cornerstone of vulnerability identification. These scans proactively probe systems to identify weaknesses, much like a digital health checkup. Non-intrusive scans focus on gathering information without disrupting services, such as fingerprinting software versions or checking open ports. Intrusive scans go deeper, attempting to exploit vulnerabilities in a safe, controlled way to confirm their existence. Each approach carries trade-offs. Non-intrusive scans are safer but may miss subtle risks, while intrusive scans reveal more detail but risk impacting performance. Hardened programs select scanning types based on context, balancing depth of insight with operational stability. Passive discovery methods complement active scanning by observing rather than probing. Network telemetry can reveal unpatched devices based on traffic signatures. Honeypots attract attackers, exposing techniques and vulnerabilities being exploited in real time. Endpoint reports generated by installed agents provide insights into local misconfigurations or outdated software. Passive methods are valuable because they detect risks without adding network load or risking disruption. Hardened environments use passive discovery as a constant background process, supplementing active scans to ensure coverage across both visible and less obvious vectors. Authenticated scanning provides deeper insight than unauthenticated approaches. With valid credentials, scanners can examine systems internally, inspecting configurations, patch levels, and permissions. This access exposes vulnerabilities invisible to external scans. Unauthenticated scanning, while useful for simulating an attacker's view, is limited to surface-level checks such as open ports and version banners. Hardened security programs combine both. Unauthenticated scans provide the external perspective of how adversaries see systems, while authenticated scans give administrators the internal detail needed to remediate thoroughly. Each method answers a different but equally important security question. Software Composition Analysis, or SCA, identifies vulnerabilities hidden within libraries and third-party dependencies. Modern applications are built on extensive open-source and commercial components, and vulnerabilities in these components can cascade upward. SCA tools analyze codebases, map dependencies, and cross-reference them against known vulnerability databases. Without SCA, organizations may remain blind to risks buried deep in supply chains. Hardened development and operations pipelines integrate SCA into builds, ensuring that vulnerable components are identified and addressed before they reach production. This practice acknowledges that vulnerabilities exist not only in custom code, but also in the ecosystem around it. Configuration auditing detects insecure settings that create vulnerabilities even when software itself is fully patched. Examples include weak password policies, overly permissive firewall rules, or services running with excessive privileges. Attackers often exploit misconfigurations because they are easier to find than undiscovered code flaws. Configuration auditing tools compare system settings against secure baselines, such as CIS benchmarks or vendor hardening guides. Hardened organizations make auditing routine, recognizing that vulnerabilities often arise not from software defects but from careless or inconsistent configuration choices across systems. Host-based discovery adds granularity by using endpoint detection and response agents or similar telemetry tools. These agents provide detailed visibility into local conditions, such as unpatched software, disabled defenses, or risky processes. Because they run directly on endpoints, they can capture vulnerabilities that network-based scans miss. Host-based discovery is particularly valuable in environments with mobile or remote devices that rarely connect to centralized networks. Hardened environments integrate host telemetry with broader vulnerability programs, ensuring no endpoint operates invisibly outside scanning schedules or discovery cycles. Threat intelligence feeds enhance vulnerability identification by flagging newly discovered CVEs, common vulnerabilities, and exposures that are being actively exploited in the wild. While vulnerability databases provide comprehensive lists, threat intelligence highlights those weaknesses most relevant to current attack campaigns. This focus helps organizations prioritize urgent remediation. For example, if intelligence shows that a particular web server flaw is being weaponized broadly, administrators can prioritize scanning for and fixing that vulnerability. Hardened environments tie vulnerability discovery to live threat data, ensuring responses align with the actual tactics adversaries are using. Prioritization requires inputs beyond raw vulnerability counts. Asset criticality, exploitability, and business impact shape which findings matter most. A vulnerability on a test server may be low priority, while the same flaw on a production database becomes critical. Exploit maturity, whether public exploits exist, also influences urgency. Hardened programs apply structured prioritization models that weigh these factors, ensuring resources are spent where risk reduction is greatest. Without prioritization, teams may drown in alerts, patching trivial flaws while dangerous ones remain unaddressed. Prioritization transforms vulnerability identification into actionable, risk-based management. Zero-day vulnerabilities represent a special challenge because they are unknown to vendors and lack official patches. Detection often relies on behavioral analytics such as spotting abnormal memory usage, suspicious process behavior, or unexpected outbound traffic. These signals can surface the presence of an exploit even before the vulnerability is formally documented. Hardened programs do not assume 0 days can be eliminated entirely but use layered defenses, anomaly monitoring, and rapid response to limit their impact. 0-day detection emphasizes vigilance in runtime behavior rather than reliance on known vulnerability databases. Inventory alignment ensures that scans cover every in-scope asset. If inventories are incomplete or inaccurate, scanners will miss systems altogether. Shadow IT, forgotten servers, or unmanaged IoT devices create blind spots that attackers can exploit. Aligning scans with updated asset inventories ensures full coverage. Hardened organizations reconcile discovery feeds with inventories, ensuring every device or instance is accounted for. Without this step, vulnerability identification becomes piecemeal, leaving silent exposures hidden in untracked corners of the environment. Finally, validation steps confirm scanner findings before raising remediation tickets. Automated tools sometimes generate false positives reporting vulnerabilities that are not actually exploitable or already patched. Manual validation or secondary tools can confirm findings, reducing wasted effort. Without validation, teams risk patch fatigue and wasted resources, undermining the credibility of vulnerability programs. Hardened environments establish a verification process, ensuring that findings reflect real risks before remediation workflows are triggered. This discipline makes vulnerability management sustainable, keeping focus on the vulnerabilities that truly threaten the organization. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Scanner fingerprinting enhances coverage by verifying that both vendor software and agents are up to date. Vulnerability databases evolve constantly, and outdated scanners may miss new CVEs or misidentify patched systems. Fingerprinting ensures the scanning tools themselves remain accurate, current, and compatible with monitored assets. This extends to endpoint agents, which must report correct system details to support valid assessments. Hardened organizations treat the scanner ecosystem as part of vulnerability management, maintaining it as diligently as the systems it monitors. Without updated scanners, even the most disciplined scanning schedule produces incomplete results. Integrating scan results into ticketing and vulnerability management workflows is essential to ensure findings are acted upon. Scans that generate reports but never feed into operational systems create bottlenecks. By linking results directly into ticketing tools, organizations assign responsibility, track progress, and verify closure. This integration transforms identification into managed remediation, aligning security findings with IT workflows. Hardened environments use structured pipelines to ensure vulnerabilities move from discovery into prioritized, traceable action items, reducing the chance of overlooked risks or unpatched systems. Risk scoring models help prioritize findings by combining multiple inputs such as CVSS scores, exploit maturity, and asset context. CVSS provides a baseline measure of severity, but not all high-severity vulnerabilities pose equal risk. If exploit code is readily available, urgency increases. If the asset is critical to business operations, impact escalates. Conversely, a flaw on an isolated test machine may pose little danger. Hardened programs use multi-factor scoring models to guide remediation, ensuring limited resources are applied where they reduce risk most effectively. Scoring transforms raw findings into meaningful priorities. Attack surface mapping supplements vulnerability scanning by identifying systems that scanners may miss. Tools that map external IP ranges, domain names, and services reveal forgotten assets or shadow IT. These assets often fall outside normal inventories but remain exposed to attackers. By correlating maps with scan results, organizations close discovery gaps. Hardened environments treat attack surface mapping as complementary, recognizing that no scanner sees everything. External perspective tools help organizations see themselves the way attackers do, ensuring vulnerabilities on overlooked systems do not provide easy entry points. Reporting outputs turn technical findings into actionable insights for different stakeholders. Dashboards provide administrators with detailed vulnerability views, while SLA-driven remediation lists assign priorities and deadlines to IT teams. Executive summaries distill findings into trends and business risk. Without tailored reporting, vulnerability data overwhelms rather than informs. Hardened programs deliver the right level of detail to the right audience, ensuring decision-makers understand risk, technicians know what to fix, and leadership sees progress. Reporting is the communication bridge that turns discovery into organizational action. Safe testing windows prevent vulnerability scans from disrupting business operations. Aggressive scans can overload fragile systems, cause service degradation, or trigger false alarms. Coordinating with system owners to define maintenance windows ensures that scanning does not introduce more problems than it solves. Hardened programs schedule scans at times that minimize business impact while still meeting risk timelines. This balance respects operational realities, ensuring security does not undermine availability. Safe scanning acknowledges that protection and continuity must coexist in carefully managed harmony. Manual verification provides assurance for complex or high-risk findings. Automated scanners may flag issues such as potential SQL injection or weak configurations but cannot always confirm exploitability. Skilled analysts can reproduce findings safely, determine actual severity, and eliminate false positives. Manual checks ensure remediation resources are not wasted and that security teams maintain credibility with system owners. Hardened environments incorporate manual validation for critical findings, blending automation with human expertise to deliver accurate and trusted results. Remediation confirmation ensures that vulnerabilities are actually resolved after fixes are applied. Retesting verifies that patches worked, configurations were corrected, and flaws no longer exist. Closure criteria should require this verification, not just ticket updates. Without confirmation, organizations risk believing issues are resolved when they remain exploitable. Hardened environments mandate retests as part of the workflow, ensuring that remediation translates into true risk reduction. This feedback loop strengthens trust in the vulnerability management process and ensures it produces measurable outcomes. Automation opportunities streamline the vulnerability management cycle. Scan-to-ticket pipelines eliminate delays by creating remediation tasks as soon as vulnerabilities are confirmed. Prioritized remediation queues ensure the most critical issues rise to the top. Automation reduces human error and speeds response, but it must be balanced with validation to prevent overwhelming IT with false positives. Hardened programs embrace automation where it reduces toil and accelerates security while retaining checks to maintain accuracy. This blend ensures both efficiency and effectiveness in managing discovered vulnerabilities. Measuring program health provides insight into how well vulnerability identification and remediation are working. Key metrics include time to detect, time to remediate, and the volume of residual risk. These measures reveal whether vulnerabilities linger too long, whether remediation keeps pace with discovery, and whether resources are sufficient to manage risk. Hardened environments use these metrics for both internal improvement and external reporting, demonstrating progress to executives and regulators alike. Without measurement, vulnerability programs operate in the dark. With it, they evolve into accountable, continuously improving systems. Continuous improvement ensures vulnerability management remains effective as technology and threats evolve. Lessons from confirmed findings feed back into scan tuning, improving accuracy and reducing false positives. Discovery rules are updated to capture new asset types or shadow IT patterns. Response playbooks evolve based on remediation successes and failures. Hardened organizations treat vulnerability identification as a cycle, not a project. Improvement is built into every stage, ensuring that defenses adapt over time. This evolution transforms vulnerability management into a living discipline, responsive to both business and threat landscapes. Thanks for tuning in to the Bare Metal Cyber Prepcast, your trusted source for cybersecurity news and insights. Remember to subscribe at baremetalcyber.com so you never miss an update. And visit cyberauthor.me for best-selling cybersecurity books that equip you with expert knowledge. Until next time, stay secure and stay vigilant.